Hello Pisces, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection, your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and the higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self to ultimately create the relationships that you desire and deserve. As I do in all of my readings, I pulled the overall energy, clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second, but I still have a different tarot deck I will be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck I'll be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So please do remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, take what helps, leave what doesn't. All right, let's jump on in here, Pisces. On your side of this connection, you have habits with the Six of Cups in reverse. There is this energy of like the past continuing to repeat itself. Maybe it has to do with this connection. Maybe it's in your connections in general. Just getting to a point where you're like, why does this always happen? Or why do these things always, seem to play out this way? Like, what is going on? The Six of Cups in reverse, a lot of people think is like the past coming back, but I really have always read this message as a warning not to go back to the past. You know how, like, not to go back to past habits or past situations, because you know how that is going to work out. You've been there, done that. And, the more that you move forward to new, the more you create better. So I'm not saying that's exactly what's going down in this connection, but I do definitely feel as if this is like there's something recurring in this connection over and over again. Now, this person has inner growth with the High Priestess in reverse. So there's some inner growth that's needed on their part, but with the High Priestess in reverse, they're not connected to themselves enough to actually go through this process. So this connection is pushing this person to grow, but they're not connected enough to themselves to grow. So that's leaving them very stagnant, which is probably leaving the connection very stagnant, or at least their ability to invest in it has been capped, because in order for it to improve, they're going to need to go through some growth here. Now, I'm not saying that's impossible. I'm just saying that's where things are at right now. Now, in between this connection, you have big heart with the Empress in reverse. Pisces, you have the biggest heart. And I feel like you are here to love this person, to care for them, to give them all that you have to give. But in the process of that with the Empress in reverse, there's been a little bit of letting go of what it is that you need, not paying so much attention to your needs and what's best for you here, because I feel as if so much of your focus has been on this person, which has kind of perpetuated this cycle of not having your needs met. Not saying that you can never have them met. It just feels like as if there's something that always keeps them from being met here, and there's something with overall energy being truth, the overall theme of the reading being truth. There's something you're needing to know, something you're needing to hear, so that things can change for you, because this is, you're obviously getting less than what you deserve here, and the best way to break out of that is figure out what it is that you can do to show up for yourself instead of waiting on someone to show up for you. We often spend so much of our time waiting on somebody else, waiting on, someone to make the best decision for us, when in reality, the more that we wait on everyone else, the less that we're actually going to be able to have what it is that we need, because that's giving over our power. And anything that requires us to give over our power isn't truly meant for us. So, I don't know, a lot to talk about in this reading here, Pisces. Let's start with looking at your side. You have habits with the Six of Cups in reverse. This is for Pisces side of this connection. This is Pisces side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Justice in reverse. Lack of justice here. I feel as if, and this keeps manifesting with the Magician. This is the recurring theme here. Just feeling like you're constantly getting screwed over, the short end of the stick. Things are just not working out, not just in your favor necessarily, but like it's not even that things aren't working out in your favor. It's that you constantly end up feeling as if they're working out in a way that is like what's worst for you. Now, I feel like this is kind of that recurring theme here. That recurring theme that keeps popping up in your relationships, maybe even just in this relationship in particular, or this relationship is a very good reflection of it. So I don't know what's going on here. I definitely feel like you've been screwed over a bit, though, just based on what I can tell so far. Pisces side of the connection. There's a lot of reverse cards, I just realized. Every single one so far is in reverse. And then there's the High Priestess in reverse. With the Six of Pentacles in reverse. There's the Knight of Cups. That's upright. Okay, so it's been a very emotional connection for you. And I feel a big part of that is because this goes back to kind of the lack of justice. Like, the Six of Pentacles in reverse is an indication of giving so much and receiving very little, like a lack of reciprocation, things not being balanced in a connection. So you constantly being the one, putting in the effort, making plans, trying to get the other person to communicate with you. And no matter how much you try, it feels like you cannot get this person to reciprocate on the level that you are giving to the connection. And I honestly feel as if that's because they lack the inner growth to be able to show up to your capacity, but we'll talk about that when we get over there. I really feel as if, just seeing the Justice in reverse or the Six of Pentacles in reverse, like, this is very much a lack of, this is very much an energy of giving, and receiving way less than what it is that you truly deserve here. Pisces side of the connection. Five of Swords. There's this energy of being very defensive here. I feel like you've gotten to a point, maybe you've gotten to a point where you're pretty angry. You're frustrated, and I feel like, okay. You've been trying to defend why it is that you deserve more. Because here you are, Queen of Cups, Sun and the Knight of Cups. I feel like you've been doing a lot of defending yourself. I deserve more than this. I need you to treat me better. This is why this hurts me. And it feels as if the more that you try to defend yourself, the less that you feel heard here, the less you feel seen. Now, this is where I want to ask the question of, why do you need this person to see what it is that you deserve in order for you to get what you deserve? I feel like there's something more to this, because you shouldn't have to constantly be defending yourself. We do teach people how to treat us. That's absolutely true. But we shouldn't have to talk people into treating us well. Let's see, though, what this person has. This person's energy toward Pisces. Inner growth with the High Priestess in reverse. This person's energy toward Pisces, please. Four of Cups here. Discontent. This person always kind of seems to be discontent. It's like nothing that you give them is ever enough for them. That's not that what you have to give isn't enough. Okay? That's not at all what I'm saying. But I feel like, it's very much a giver-taker dynamic. Like, you're giving, they're taking, and it's like nothing that you ever give them is enough. Because this Four of Cups seems to be like this energy of, discontentment. Which is part of the reason why I feel, now, here's the thing. It's not that they're just discontent with this relationship. I feel like they're just kind of discontent in general. Like nothing really makes them happy. And you try. It's like you try to make them happy. You try to make them feel good, and it just feels like it's always, no matter what, there's just this discontentment. That's interesting. Where is that coming from? This person's energy toward Pisces. Okay. Tower, Sun in reverse, 9 of Pentacles. So this is where the inner growth is needed. Because this person is looking very much outside of themselves for somebody to make them happy, which never works. That will never lead you to happiness. That will always lead you to being unhappy in the long run. So, in the beginning of connections, it's fun and it's exciting and you're in the honeymoon phase, and then eventually that wears off and you're left with the root of the connection that now exists between two people. And if someone is always relying on the chemicals flying and the excitement and the all of that, then they're never going to actually be truly happy in a connection in the long run. And it feels like no matter how much you try to make this person see the good in you and in the connection, it's almost as if they're always very focused on reasons that it isn't good enough. Now, that isn't you, okay? It's not that you're not good enough. It's not that you're not enough. It's not that there is anything wrong with you. But when someone is determined to see things wrong in a connection, they will find it. And it feels like this person has this tendency to run when things get serious. Like I said, when the chemicals stop flying and you're like, okay, this is a real connection, let's figure this out. And that's what I was talking about when I said that it's almost like this person's capacity was capped, because it feels like you've reached a point in this connection that would require them to show up in a way that they're not ready for. Even if it doesn't whatever age they are, it's almost like they're not ready for you and for what you have to give. And so they're finding reasons, they're finding things wrong, and there's always a reason for them not to commit or for them to not show up or whatever the case is, because it's easier for them to find those reasons than it is to do the growth, to face themselves here. So I feel like they have a tendency with the Tower. It's like they burned things down before even really allowing this the chance, because I do feel as if, especially if you're constantly defending yourself and you're like, I deserve more and I deserve to be treated better and things of that nature, that would require them to have to look within themselves and do some self-analyzing and some self-reflection to show up a little bit better. And if they're not doing that with the High Priestess in reverse, then they're going to be in total just reaction mode. They're going to say, whoa, this is too uncomfortable. You're asking for too much, which you're not, but they're going to make you feel like that because they're not capable of meeting your needs, which means that if they're not capable of meeting their needs and they don't want to face the reasons why, they're going to make you feel like your needs are too much. And that's when, it's so important that we remember that no matter when we're asking to be loved well, when we're asking to be treated well, you are never asking for too much, but you might be asking the wrong people. And I feel like that's this person and the way that they act in this connection and their discontentment, it has nothing to do with you not being enough. It's that energy of nothing's ever going to be enough for somebody like that, because they're always going to be looking for somebody else to make them happy. And that's when you're dealing with a giver-taker kind of connection like that, the giver has a limit. You only have so much energy to give, but the taker doesn't. The taker can take as much as they can. But eventually, you as the giver, you're going to run out and you're going to say, I have nothing left to give. I've given you everything. And this person is going to say, oh, well, since I have nothing left to take, I'm going to have to, go elsewhere to get what it is that I need because they don't know how to be in a reciprocal connection. And I feel like that's why there's a need to know that like everything that this person has done and the way that they've acted and has nothing to do with you, and you might feel taken for granted and you might feel used, and I get that, I absolutely do, but it isn't a reflection of your value. And I'm not saying they used you, I'm saying the capacity of what you're able to give in a relationship does not meet their capacity of what they're able to give. And that's why, again, you're never asking for too much, but you might be asking the wrong person. The Hermit in reverse energy here is this person has a tendency to withdraw. They when things get uncomfortable, when they don't know how to handle situations, instead of like facing it head on and working through things like a team, it's like they completely pull back their energy and they prefer kind of the loneliness in that isolation as opposed to actually making something work between them and another person. This person just has growing up to do. That's what it ultimately feels like. They need to grow, but they're not focused on how to grow. They're focused on, it's kind of just like how they can get what they need, but without having to do any of the work themselves. Now, this person I don't think is a bad person. I can actually, the reason I like doing readings this way is because I've been on this side of things and I've been on this side of things. Like I've been the chaser, I've been the runner, I've been both. And when I was at kind of my lowest point in my life, I was hurting people without even realizing that I was doing it because I was so focused on my own survival. And, I had a lot of growing up to do, and I had to work through a lot of guilt and a lot of shame through that period of my life, but I never was intentionally trying to hurt other people. And I think that that's kind of where this person is coming from. I don't feel like they're intentionally trying to hurt anybody, but I feel like they haven't done the healing and the growth to be able to healthily show up in a connection, which causes them to hurt others, hurt people. So Pisces, what do we need to know now that we kind of have the baseline for what they're dealing with? What do we need to know about your side here? Pisces side of the connection. It's like you were the one holding this connection together. And I feel like that's what it comes down to with the Queen of Pentacles. Like you were the stability, like you were their rock. You were there for them. You were always the one putting in the effort, always the one showing up. And it's almost like if you stopped doing those things, the connection would almost be non-existent because so much of the burden of the connection was falling on you. And I'm just saying was because I feel like this could be a past connection, but it doesn't have to be. But yeah, it just feels like so much of the burden here was falling on you. You were the rock here, and you can only do that for so long. That is not a sustainable dynamic. I feel like this connection left you very confused, very conflicted. Not knowing, or maybe you are right now very confused and very conflicted, because maybe you're able to understand why this person, is withdrawing, or why they're not showing up in the way that you deserve or reciprocating in the way that you deserve. Like maybe you can justify that all day long. You understand their past, you understand what they're going through, you have empathy, right? Which is amazing. We should always have empathy for where other people are at. But that empathy that we have for other people does not mean that we have to tolerate the capacity of their ability to give and receive love in a healthy manner. We can both support other people while still looking out for ourselves. And I feel like a lot of what is lacking here is so much of this, your energy has become how to take care of this person, that in the process you've kind of lost yourself. And in that, I feel is kind of a habit that you have in relationships, where you give until you have nothing left to give, and then all of a sudden this other person disappears and you're like, oh, so because I have nothing left to give means that I'm not good enough for you anymore. When in reality, you exhausted your energy trying to keep the connection alive. And I feel like that's why there's something that needs to be seen about that so that you can break out of this cycle and have reciprocated connections in the way that you deserve, because it is possible for you. It's possible for anyone. Pisces side of the connection. But this is your comfort zone, Pisces. Taking care of other people is kind of your thing. And I feel like, you are always taking care of others, but you yourself are not getting taken care of, and neither by other people or by you. And I feel like a big part of that is because a lot of your value possibly comes from the value that you provide others, which is not where your value lies. Your value is not how valuable you are to other people. You are inherently valuable for who you are and who you have always been. And your value isn't dictated by what you're able to provide other people. But I feel like when we have that belief, we overgive in our connections, and we tend to give to the wrong people, thinking that, oh, if I give enough, eventually they will see my value, since my value comes from what I provide. And then when they see that value, then eventually they will reciprocate it. But the thing, Pisces, is that you are not here to prove your value to anybody. Nobody needs to see your value except for you, because when you see your value and you show up in that manner by not overgiving, setting appropriate boundaries, asking for your needs to be met, you will, yes, lose the people that aren't able to do those things, but you will also attract the people who are. And that's what this is very much about, is letting go of connections or habits in connections that keep you attached to people who literally aren't able to meet your needs, but you're like waiting on them to, spending a lot of your time waiting on other people to show up for you and to meet your needs, even though they consistently show you that they are incapable of doing so, which is something that we all tend to fall into the trap of. It's what a lot of my readings are about, because I think that we have to learn that showing up for ourselves in our relationships is the key to creating healthy relationships, but none of us are really taught that. We're taught for how to show up for other people, how to be everything for somebody else, and we're not really taught how to be these things for ourselves first, so that we don't overgive, so that we don't sacrifice our needs for the sake of a connection, and instead we are looking out for ourselves. Because at the end of the day, you got to look out for yourself. You have to. Somebody can love you but not know how to love you, and making sure that you are showing up for yourself first is going to make sure that you're protecting yourself from people who don't know how to. This person's energy toward Pisces. Just feel like your big heart gets you into trouble, is what it is. But again, being empathetic and having a big heart are not bad things. You just have to learn how to redirect that energy and that perspective back to yourself. You see how this person is so lovable and you're willing to have empathy for them for all of the things that they're going through, but I would bet that you're pretty self-critical, and that you're always, second guessing yourself and looking at how you're not perfect and feeling like you need to be better in order to be loved the right way, when in reality you see this person's lovableness with ease. So redirecting that energy back to yourself and understanding that you are just as lovable, you are just as deserving, you are just as capable of love as you see in this person. It's just that you're needing to direct that energy towards yourself first. But okay, let's get more. This person's energy toward Pisces. Because when we give to a connection and that person doesn't reciprocate, we're going to start to feel like it's us. Like it's something that we are not good enough for, when in reality, the other person might not be good enough to show up for you. It's not that what you're giving isn't good enough. It's that you're giving to someone who isn't capable of reciprocating. This person, the strength in reverse is this energy of lacking confidence. And it's coupled with the Four of Swords here. So what I'm viewing this as is, this might not be something that is portrayed outwardly by this person, but within them, they very much lack confidence. They lack seeing themselves in a positive light, seeing themselves as lovable and good enough for love, which is probably why they don't show up for it. People won't show up for something they don't think that they can have. And I really do feel like this is something that you're needing to see has nothing to do with you. Now, we can't love people into loving themselves. We can't love people into seeing their own value and their own worth. What we can do is show people that we're willing to support them, but making sure that we're still setting appropriate boundaries so that we are not just getting drained by their energy. Because I feel like that's what's happened here is you're trying to love this person and be there for them and give them everything that they need, but eventually you're going to run out of what to give because you're not going to have anything left to give because you're going to have given it all. And maybe that has already happened and maybe that's starting to happen, but that's why I think you keep feeling screwed over here is because you give everything you have to give to someone who takes, and then, never gives back, and you're always left going, what the hell? I gave so much to this and it still wasn't enough. But it's not about, there's a dynamic shift that needs to happen here. This person's energy toward Pisces. Queen of Wands with the Two of Cups. Okay. This is a hard message to deliver, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to word it because this person values you for the wrong reasons. And I feel like, and it's not that, okay, I feel like they value you for the value you provide them. They don't value you for who you are. Now, hold on before you get mad at me. I'm not saying that this person just doesn't see your value, hates who you are, but is really appreciative of the things you do for them. What I am saying is that if they valued you for who you truly were, and you stopped giving the things that you give to them, they would still value you because they would see you as a valuable human being outside of those things. Now, if they don't see your value outside of the value that you provide them, that probably means that they don't see their own value at all. Because other people can only value other people to the extent that they value themselves. For me, when I didn't like myself very much, I was always constantly criticizing other people, and I would only see the benefit in a relationship if it benefited me, right? It was conditional love is that's what this is. If you were going to kind of wrap it up in a word, it's conditional love. It was always based on how other people treated me or what other people did for me or whatever the case was, instead of just being who they were. Now, then I was on the other side of things and kind of experienced what that was like over there. So please understand, I'm not saying this person is a bad person, but what you need to know is their love, you have this unconditional love for them. No matter what they do, you love them unconditionally. They are only capable of conditional love. So this is not saying they only love you conditionally, Pisces. This is literally saying they are not capable of unconditional love, which is the ability to say, I love you regardless of whether or not you are in my life, basically, or not. Whether or not you're doing the things that I think that you need to do. And this conditional love that this person is giving, and again, it is not just to you, okay? It is a literal reflection of their capacity to love. And they probably have those same conditions for themselves. I can only love myself if I'm perfect or if I don't make a mistake or whatever the case is. And then that projects onto you, which makes you not feel good enough when in reality, it's just about how this person is within. So this person is literally not capable of the unconditional love that you are showing up with in this connection. Conditional, transactional love, it can come in so many different forms. So understanding that, that is not a reflection of your value or your worth or what it is that you actually are worth. It's just their capacity to love is very conditional. And that's, it's like they can't love something or someone unless there's something in it for them. And that's not love. And that is not what you deserve. Now, I am not saying this person doesn't have the ability to, eventually grow into learning how to love the right way. They just have a lot of growth that they need to go through before they're capable of that. And the more that you're trying to push this person to grow and push this person to heal and push this person to see that you're deserving of more, the more that you're left feeling very empty, because what you're kind of saying is, I need this person to change and I need them to be different in order for me to have what it is that I need and desire. And that isn't true, but that's why I feel you've given so much to this person and to this connection, is because you're trying to turn them into someone that they are not right now. Not saying that it's not, because that's not what you deserve, but it's just, again, where their capacity lies. Now they have the Six of Wands in reverse. They kind of just feel hopeless when it comes to connections anyway. It's like they already expect them to fail. And all of that is going to come from this fact that they don't feel lovable. They don't feel like they are capable of being in a healthy, sustainable relationship. So they're going to do whatever they can to, push it away or end it or throw it away before it even has a chance, which, again, doesn't have anything to do with you. So open up your heart to, yourself a little bit, and stop looking at this from this place of what does this person need from me? How can I be better so this person sees my value? Start looking at it from a place of, what do I need? What am I deserving of that I'm not getting here? And if I'm looking so much for this person to treat me well and they continue not to, then what is that a result of? What trauma is being brought to the surface? What is needing to be healed in this moment, which is kind of what we talk about in the extended, which is you have big heart with the Empress in reverse. I'm going to pull 9 different messages looking at the deeper purpose of the connection. And then I have an advice card at the very end that I will pull from this self-awareness deck. Thank you so much, Pisces, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Pisces, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Pisces.